All right, so these are some pictures I took recently of my cat staring through the storm door and through some chairs. She's out on the balcony and a little precocious little bugger. So you can see the storm door right here, and that's the deck chair, and there she is on the other side of it. And I managed to focus and zoom in so we could see her face pretty clearly. And you could notice that these have different hues. That's because the white balance, I was just playing around with the white balance to see what I could get. And this is why this one looks a little different than this, than that, than this. Now, the beautiful thing about Lightroom is that you can easily change these if you go to color and go to auto, or just select the one you want. Also, I can replicate one of these shots by choosing a different white balance, right? So if for some reason you didn't like this one, then you could just go in and change it. Of these, I'm gonna call these right now in real time. I like this one because she's framed by more things, and she's kind of scented. I would crop this bit out, but she's framed by more things. You can see the storm door corner here, and there's also so I'm shooting through a glass, and I'm shooting, and the storm door also has a mesh screen, like a mosquito screen on the other side, right? So I'm shooting through all of that, and it was pretty cool that I got her through here. Wait, is there a mesh screen? I don't think there's a mesh screen. I think it's just a glass. I'm shooting through the glass portion of the door, right? All right, so I think I kind of like this one. I don't know if I like it. Let me see. It's not too bad, but I'm just gonna get rid of this one. I like this one. This one's not too bad. This one's cool because then you can see more of the background. I'm on the second floor, so you can see more of the background there. All right, so we'll work with this one and this one. All right, we're gonna make a decision. All right, and then this is some fall footage I got in the park. Uh, this stream is pretty cool. I tried to use a longer exposure just to get it looking creamy. Didn't work out as I thought it would. But I tried a shorter exposure, but then some of the stuff back here are now blurry. But it wasn't the focal point. What I should have done is gotten down lower. And this was on a low tripod, but maybe go down into the stream. I was on a little board walkway that was above it. So I should have gone down lower and shot more up this way, or gotten closer to it to make it look like it's a roaring river or something. I don't know. But right now, it's hard to tell what the focal point is. It did look pretty at the time, but I should have zeroed in on a specific focal point. I took the same picture again. So I'm just going to work with one of these. I think one of these, yeah. I think I like this one. So it's going to delete that one and delete this one. The reason I chose this one is in camera, this is the one that has the best overall exposure. I can tell because if you look at the histogram, most of the graph is in the middle. And this is what I was kind of going for, to capture a lot of the details in without blowing out the highlights and so on and so forth. Now the sky is not even a part of it because it wasn't particularly impressive from this angle. This one is a little underexposed, so if I tried to raise the exposure, it just seems like we're losing detail over here. All right, so I'm going to stick with the other one here. And this little pathway, yes, there's a path through here, and it's a beautiful park. I think it's just pretty. Fall is one of my favorite times to go for a walk, with or without a camera. So even with auto settings, let me just reset that. You can see it's still hard to fix this, but let me raise the exposure. Again, this one I should have had a focal point. I just basically pointed the camera and snapped it. So there's nothing of particular interest. The overall scene is pretty to my eye because I remember what the day looked like on that particular time, but it doesn't have a focal point. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. All right, so I won't even bother working with this one. This one, the camera I was using is a A6600 with 18 to 50 Sigma f2.8, and this one has surprisingly good macro capabilities. I was maybe a couple of inches away from this little seed pod here, and it was able to focus on just this. It's not marketed as a macro lens, but it has serious macro capabilities. And here I got even closer, which is pretty cool. If you reset this one, and we can fix this one up a little bit. Maybe I should have used a flash with this. And we can select the subject on this thing. Alright, so it got even in here, which I'm not interested in. It's not too bad. Alright. Both of these pictures, in my opinion, are not anything that I would write home about. Maybe 4 years ago, I thought, man, it's a great picture. But not really. Alright, and this is of a golf course that's abutting the park. So as you come out the park, you see this golf course. I like the trees are kind of going this way. But there's no focal point. There might be a house, but no, there's no house back here. There's nothing. So there's a person or a house or something that would be the trees would be pointing to, as I would say, leading lines. Yes, I would think this is a great picture. But it is still kind of pretty. It was pretty, and I couldn't help but capture it. It was kind of pretty. But it's not that there's anything back here to focus on. Yeah, and maybe I should have used a smaller aperture. I think I used, what's this here? F2.8, okay. So the focal point is probably right up somewhere off here, right? And if I'd used a narrower aperture, then I could have gotten more stuff in focus. So if we turn the exposure down, turn the highlights down, we can bring the sky back a little bit. And let's select the sky and see what we can do with that. So we got the sky selected, kind of. Let's see what we can do with that. If we turn the highlights down, okay, it's not looking too bad. And then we can leave the exposure right about there. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. So that's what it looks like before. That's what it looks like after. Before, after. Not too bad at all. I still think the overall exposure could be raised a little bit. All right, and then let's select some colors to see if we can make the greens pop a little bit more. Yeah, it looks good. Let's select the autumn leaves just to marvel. When I first came to America, I just found it marvelous that the leaves change colors every year, and I've never gotten used to it. Every year I look forward to it, and every year I get amazed by how beautiful nature is. If these were centered, which I don't think they are, maybe I should have moved a little bit to the right so I was in the middle of them, or at least kept this one in the center. You know, hindsight is 2020, as they say. All right, but let's see. So we got before, after. So you can do a whole heap with this raw image. All right, what would I have done differently? Like I said, maybe a narrower aperture to get more stuff in focus. Maybe f8 or f10 or something like that. That's what I would have done. All right, so this one here, let me put it back to how it was. That's how it was captured, severely underexposed. But I wanted to make sure I got at least some detail in for the sun. And it looks like I shot with a narrow aperture for this one, I think. Yeah, f5. Yeah, so maybe I should have used an even narrower aperture, but then it would have been blacked out here, perhaps. And so it looked really nice on that day. Really, really nice. But let's see what we can do. All right, that's looking better already. We can do even more. Let's see if we can. All right, let's select the sky. That did a pretty good job. That's amazing. All right, and then we can, let's drop the highlights. Nah, it looks like garbage. That looks like garbage. Let's drop the exposure. Let's try dropping the whites. Nah, not much we can do. All right. Let's do the overall exposure for the picture itself. And then we'll drop the highlights a little bit. Drop the whites, drop the blacks, raise the exposure. And then I like, now this my next thing I like to do is pick a color. Feel like I'm in a nail salon. Pick a color. And then just kind of increase the saturation a little bit. And since we have fall colors, let's pick that one too and do that. Let's see what it looked like before and after. Yeah, garbage. We recovered a little bit of sauce. Garbage, a little bit of sauce. All right, so that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, and this one, ugh, Jesus. What can we do with this one here? It's the same kind of picture, really, except now the trees are obscuring more of the sun. It looks like, right? Looks like. Let's see what my f-stop was. I use the same f5. Okay. All right, so let's see what we can do. So this is a similar picture. I don't think it's worth going back over. All right, so let's go to this one here with the trees. I usually like to start with auto just to see what the algorithm does in Lightroom. And let's raise the exposure a little bit. And drop the, no, well, yeah, we can drop the blacks. I mean, you notice that right in here, behind this stone where the moss is, that's where we're losing the detail. But there's nothing in here interesting, really. This is what I wanted to showcase. It's too low in the picture, and it's just not focused right. Looks like the focus is somewhere here, I think. I don't even know. All right, let's jump to the cats. Let's start with my favorite one, this one here. And this is what it looked like before, which is not terrible. Not terrible at all. Not terrible at all. I wouldn't even do a whole heap with this. Maybe I'd crop it. Yeah, get it more in the center. Get her more in the center. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Goodness mercy. I might keep this one. And then this one, let's try it. Wait, let's try a different white balance to see. So that's daylight. I think I had it on daylight. Cloudy. I kind of like this too. Shade. That's interesting. It's gonna be trash. It's gonna be trash. It's not too bad. Okay, so it's between this and this. I kind of like this. I really do. All right, let's see what we can do with this one. She just kept looking at me, probably wondering, what is this crazy bastard doing? Why doesn't he come out and pet me? Or just sit out here and be quiet and put that stupid camera down. He always has his camera. I'm sure she's thinking this. What would I crop out of this? This area over here just looks like something's wrong with the camera, but it's not. It's just the door that I'm shooting through. don't particularly like this now that I'm looking at it, because everything is not aligned properly as, say, this one. See how the door frame is straight with the edges of the picture, whereas this one, it's not. So even if was to straighten it, no, everything would be, let me see, that doesn't look too bad actually. Let me fix it the other way. But now the edges of the railing aren't straight. Yeah, I guess it's okay. I prefer this one though. And then this one here is similar to this. I like her ears up in this picture. Yeah, then I think I also like, let me try a black and white. Oh goodness mercy. And let's see a black and white setting. Drop the red a little bit. And drop the exposure. Select the subject. Not this. We don't want that in it. Okay. It's not too bad as a picture. I might keep that. Let me crop out this little bit back here. And then crop this. It's black and white. It's not intended to show a lot of detail anyways, in my opinion. Yeah. What does that look like? Oh my God. All right. I like this. I like that. I like that. So the keepers here would be this one in either shade, white balance, or daylight. These two make it interesting, I think. But this looks like a picture you would expect. But this just makes it way interesting. So let's do this one actually. It's kind of middle ground. I'll keep these two. I'm right next to a road, by the way, so that noise you hear, nothing I can do about it. Except I make this room into a studio, which is not going to happen. And yes, I like this one. I'll keep that. This. I like this one. I like this one. I will delete this. All right, so the keeper rate, which is the how many pictures I actually keep after I've taken a good amount, is increasing, which is amazing and is expected. This is just my opinion, by the way. So someone might think it's trash, but in my opinion, it's getting better. So I think we could actually drop the white so we can get the clouds back over here. Yeah, we can raise that a little bit. And I think that looks good. The sun is a point of it here, and then the path and the golf course. That's pretty cool. The first golf course shot, this one, is to the right of this shot. So I'm shooting this way on this picture. And that's the same road in this picture. Cool, man. This is the same park, by the way. This is the same park. It's a huge park. And of that leads to the golf course. All right.